About 8 years ago, I set off on a self-discovery journey to find myself, and all I have to say is, where the fuck am I? Because a lot of us have this idea that when we go out and we explore the world and we get out of our comfort zones and we do different things, that suddenly you reach this point of realization where you say, oh, I know exactly who I am, I know everything about myself, I can now live comfortably, I can now live content. If you are looking for a point in time where you say, I've got it, I know exactly who I am, I know exactly what makes me happy, I don't need to search anymore, then you're on a lost cause because you're always going to be searching. And when you find one aspect or one thing about your life that gives you a greater sense of meaning or purpose, you'll find that there will be another question, there will be another step to follow. And when you follow that, then it will bring you to another layer of your consciousness, and then another, and then another. The self-discovery journey is really a journey of dismantling yourself, because in order to actually discover a deeper meaning to your life and to discover who you are or what gives you meaning or purpose, you need to dismantle yourself. And what I mean by that is you need to take apart all the pieces and really introspect and look into yourself, look into your own consciousness to figure out like what's actually going on here. Where do your traumas and your dysfunctions lie? Where are your insecurities? What pieces of you aren't serving the greater picture, and what can be discarded? What can be renewed? What new traits and characteristics do you need to bring in? So in this sense, being on this self-discovery journey and trying to find yourself doesn't lead to you finding yourself. It leads to you dismantling yourself and becoming even more confused with your life journey. The last trip that I took was 5 years long. And during this trip, I lived in many different cultures. I experienced a lot of different things, different jobs, different relationships, different people in my life. And I really got deeper into understanding sort of how I work and what the point of life was for me. Because back in the past, I used to be depressed and I used to be anxious and I used to have all of these problems that I was trying to find answers to. So I went on this very long trip, this nomadic journey of just trying to understand myself better and understand a deeper, or get to a deeper place of happiness, of purpose in my life. And when this trip ended and I went back to Australia after 5 years, I realized that I was even less familiar with myself and with my situation back home than I was before. And the reason why is because from traveling for all of these years and doing all of these things and meeting all these people, I sort of lost my identity in a way, because I didn't know really what was going on anymore. I didn't really know who I was, what sort of people I identified with, what sort of character I had, because often if we're in the same situation with the same sort of people in our lives, we have this conceptual idea of who we are and how we fit into this framework. But when you are traveling for so long and you're exploring all these different things and you're trying to find yourself, you sort of lose that framework. So you can't gauge your position in society, amongst other people, amongst family, because you no longer have a stable position. You're always moving, you're always changing. The nature of your reality is changing quite a lot because you're experiencing so many things that you get to a point that you don't really feel familiar with anything anymore. But this is actually a good thing. It's good when you aren't familiar with anything anymore, because it allows you to build yourself up in a better way. It allows you to discover a new sense of meaning or a new sense of purpose that isn't bound in attachment. Attachment to different things in your life, attachment to situations, to people, to places, to a job or a career. So when you don't have this sense of attachment to the external world, then you are free in a sense to actually discover something that you resonate with more, and you might discover new hobbies, you might discover, what makes you feel inspired through conversations with people, through places that you go to. You might get a sense of belonging in different situations and say, no, this actually aligns with me more than that does. And you start to calibrate more towards a deeper soul nature, and that to me is the whole point of the self-growth journey, or of the journey of trying to find yourself. Realize that first, it's never ending. You are always going to be on this journey. You're just going to get to deeper and deeper levels of it. And you need to sort of destabilize before you really start to find some sort of traction in your life or some sort of sense of identity or purpose or a mission or something that can ground you. Because if you go off into the world just expecting to find yourself, and you change everything in your life and go on this journey of self-discovery, then you will fall apart before you actually find yourself. But that is an essential part of this whole process, because you need to fall apart, you need to dismantle yourself. This is how you actually discard the aspects of yourself and your personality that no longer resonate with you or no longer serve your highest purpose or your highest growth. As you proceed along this journey, you do start to find more familiarity with yourself. You might start to feel more comfortable with yourself as you continue along it. So for example, when I were back in the days, I used to feel that, I needed to prove something to the world, and I needed to, I had to have a good social life. I had to be doing well in all these different aspects because that was an image. But the more I walked this journey and went deeper into my own self, my consciousness and my insecurities and my flaws, the more I realized, I don't give a crap. Who cares what other people think about you? In this sense, you become more comfortable in your own skin, which is really something that we should all strive for, because part of this journey has shown me that it doesn't really matter. What your life becomes and who you are, it doesn't matter as long as you can find a sense of familiarity and comfort and acceptance with yourself. That's really the bigger picture of it all. You're not going to get to this point where you just miraculously discover who you are and you know exactly, where you're going in life and what you need, because life changes. So that's part of the beauty of life, is that it's always changing and we never have this stability. But part of this journey is to find a sense of stability in the ever-flowing change of life, and to realize that even when things are changing, when situations are changing, when people are changing, you still have some sort of solid core. You still feel fine, you still feel okay, and you feel a sense of content in your life regardless of your external situation. And this is what I really think the self-discovery journey is about, is finding this sense of stillness, this sense of purpose, this sense of contentment in your life, regardless of the external, regardless of what else is happening around you. I think everyone should explore themselves and their consciousness and their reality, because we don't really know what resonates with us if we don't. We don't know the situations and the people and everything out there. You don't know what a good life is if you're always stuck in the same bubble. You don't know what's out there. So I think you should embark on this journey of self-discovery, but realize that it's somewhat of a fallacy to discover yourself, or to suddenly find yourself, that so many people speak of. They travel the world for a year and find themselves, and suddenly the rest of their life is cleared out and they're never going to have any questions ever again, because it doesn't work like this. So realize that it is a never-ending journey of self-discovery, and that there is always a deeper layer to go to. There is always something more to work on or to fix, or something else to perceive or understand about your reality or the nature of your consciousness. And it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. You will start to go into spiritual territory after a while, because personal development is just one layer of it. Eventually you'll get to a stage where you say, you know what, I'm starting to ask more about the nature of consciousness and reality, and this is where you start entering the spiritual journey of it all. So inevitably the self-discovery journey does lead to the spiritual journey, and that leads to all these incredible places and states of consciousness and things that you can experience, but it doesn't give you that closure necessarily that you're looking for, because there is always something else to discover. There is always another layer of your reality, of your consciousness, that you can experience.